I'm going to Rome. How you doing?
Terrible.
There was an earthquake last night. We're very brave. You should be really proud of us. I was a rep for this author before reps were a thing. I want to create a miniature library within my library. Hey guys, it is, what time is it, Ray? 12:30? 1. It's 1 a.m. and this is Ryan, who is my lift to the airport because I'm going to Rome and I forgot to start this vlog, so this is the only introduction you're getting.
We made it! Hey!
You're unprecedented.
Good afternoon. It is around 2 p.m. We've just arrived at the hotel. We are gonna nap though, because I had a couple of hours on the plane, but I want to get another 2 hours before we head out for dinner. We've actually made a reservation at our favorite restaurant from the first time we were in Rome in 2019. But the hotel room is a Radisson Blue. It's very nice. This is like the bedroom area. This is a man in the bathroom area. Is that, oh, that's not the right light. So on this, look at that shower. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So yeah, I'm gonna go get some sleep and then I'm going to get myself a little bit ready to go get some food. The place that we're going is called That's Amore. It's near the Trevi Fountain and it's the dessert that's to die for. They do Mille Foglie and I've been thinking about that dessert. It's been living in my mind rent free since 2019. So it's obviously the first place we're hitting up when we're feeling a little bit more refreshed.
We never talk, so October goes on. I watch my emotions before they bubble over, chasing four-leaf clovers.
You never had any family traditions or anything like that?
Good morning guys, I am feeling much more well rested, relaxed, and I've been for breakfast. So before we get into the more travel oriented like portions of this vlog, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my current read, which is Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie. So I actually get back from Rome on the 30th of September and the next Catch Up Book Club live show is going to be on the 1st of October for this book. So I kind of had to bring it with me to get it done before the live show. I'm 402 pages into it, so I have 250 pages left. And as with Croatia, I'm going to attempt to read 50 pages a day. Whether that works or not is a whole different matter. I do have a lot of ebooks with me if I do finish this, which if I read 50 pages a day, I should finish it with like a few days left of the trip. But if not, I'm sure that I will finish it on my journey home, even though that has been a palaver because there are rail strikes on the day that we get back in England and there was no other way like public transport wise for us to get home. So my dad is now picking us up because our train was cancelled. My dad is coming down to pick us up from the airport, so I won't have those many hours of train reading that I did have on the way back from Croatia. Still pretty confident I can knock out 250 pages in a week. But if you guys don't know what this one is, it is the 4th book in the First Law universe if you are reading it in order, but it is also the first standalone in the First Law universe, so you can read it by itself. And we are following a girl called Monscaro Mercato, I think is her name, which is kind of, it sounds like a very Italian name, which is pretty fitting. She was the leader of a band of mercenaries and she was betrayed by her employer, which is Duke Orso of Talons. Herself and I think it was just her and her brother were betrayed, potentially also any like really people really loyal to her, and she was supposedly killed. Her brother was killed, but she ended up surviving. Somebody found her and kind of nursed her back to life. So she is now on a pretty elaborate revenge mission to kill anybody who was part of this betrayal. So the book is sectioned into the locations that she's traveling to tick every person off her list. So kind of like Arya in Game of Thrones, she has a list of people that she's going to kill, and along the way she recruits people. Like she has a poisoner, there's a Northman that we're familiar with from the first trilogy that also joins her, and just people who are suited to the task of murder pretty much. Now a lot of people, including the host of Catch Up Book Club, have had mixed feelings about First Law so far. I actually really liked the first trilogy. The third book was not my favorite, but overall I thought that it was decent. I had a good time reading it. And a lot of people are really enjoying Best Served Cold. I'm not really loving it. I'm not really getting into it. And I had like a rough week mentally last week when I was reading this, and I don't know if that like affected my focus and my ability to really connect with this one, but I'm just not getting absorbed in it at all. So I'm kind of reading it and it's fine, but like I'm not gelling with the characters like I did with the trilogy, not as in like relating to them or anything, but just enjoying reading about them. And the writing, because like Joe Abercrombie's writing has a lot of humor in it, which I was worried about going into the First Law universe because humor is very hit or miss for me. In the First Law trilogy it really worked for me, but in here I'm just not, like the writing is not capturing my interest either really. So yeah, it's not going as well as I expected it to. I was looking forward to this because so many other people had enjoyed it, but so far it is definitely not my favorite First Law book that I've read so far. Also, because we had a very abrupt introduction to this vlog, I just wanted to let you know that the reason why I'm in Italy this week is that this is my Trovatrip. So I'm going to be meeting up with, hanging out with, traveling with, and exploring Italy with some of you guys, and I am very excited. If you watch my Croatia vlog, you will know that I kind of tagged along on Ashley's Trovatrip where we explored the Croatian coast for a week, and I had the best time. So I'm really excited to get into my own, like the first Trovatrip that I've hosted, and this one is going to be 3 nights in Rome, 2 nights in Florence, and then we come back to Rome for one last like afternoon of exploration and the farewell dinner before we fly home. So today is the day of the welcome dinner. Nobody is here yet, it's just me and Curtis. So we are going to go into the city. Well, into the city. Rome is a very big city, so we're still in the city. So we're gonna go a little bit more central, do a little bit of exploring this morning and this afternoon before we come back to the hotel to freshen up ahead of tonight's welcome dinner.
Pretty, it felt so serene. And it's a few years later now, but that feeling is still stuck with me. The water's frozen over by the lakeside, down by the boathouse we used to dance. And I can't, I'm feeling scared, 'cause I know that we'll never get that time again. Drive out to the farm and play around me till your hair was gray. I still pretend it feels the same. Remember, we stay up on Saturdays, drinking cheap wine from Pick and Pay. Without you now, the time is strange. Time is strange.
Vabbè, ma oggi per la giornata, adesso non vi sto
And as a matter of fact, I'll tell you, when Vespasian, the emperor that commissions the building of the Colosseum, starts building it, when he passes away, the Colosseum is not even finished. So you see, there is a story that goes around the spiral column, right? And you can recognize from over here soldiers with shields, soldiers on horses, soldiers by the fourth area on embarkations, right?
3, 2, 1.
He shoves me in the locker and picks you up right after school. Yeah, he can catch a football. Guess that makes him the catch to you.
Oh, okay.
I don't understand how you're still heading in your car.
My camera's covered in foil.
Brings you down, yeah,
How you doing?
Terrible. I feel like you can tell that we made it because like the dance tube, the best cheese.
Oh yeah. Good morning, guys. It is our third day of the trip, the second day with a full itinerary. Today we are going to be going to the Vatican, going through the museum, the Sistine Chapel, and then we have a lunch booked not too far from the Vatican, and we have a free afternoon. I have a sore throat, which ain't ideal because y'all know I also have health anxiety, so I would be lying if I said I was real chill about this, but so far it's actually like super minor. It's just me getting in my head about it a little bit, but the trip has been really good so far. Like, everyone is great. We've had a really great time. My favorite thing so far was the pasta making experience. I actually, when I opened up my camera to do this update, I still have flour and bits of pasta on my camera from the little bit that I did try and film of that. But yeah, that was really, really great. It was a really fun experience. The texture of the fettuccine we made was definitely suspicious, but the sauce tasted okay. The gnocchi tasted okay. It was just the texture that was a little bit off, and I really enjoyed the experience of making the pasta. That was super, super fun. The Vatican Museum today, we actually went to the Vatican Museum in 2019 in August, and it was obviously peak season in August, and it was very busy. It was very, very hot, and there wasn't really much time to look at anything because of the sheer amount of people that were in there. So I'm expecting it to be a little bit better today. One, because it's the end of September, so slightly out of peak season, and also because we have a tour guide. Our guide is Mara. She took us around the Colosseum, the Spanish Steps, the Trevi Fountain yesterday, and she's also going to be our guide today for the Vatican as well, which I really appreciate. I never thought, like, I'd never been on guided tours until Croatia and now obviously Italy, and they add so much extra because obviously I'm just walking around these places, like looking at them, not really knowing what I'm looking at. So obviously I know the historical relevance of the Colosseum, but I don't know the details. So getting the details is really interesting, and I'm definitely enjoying that aspect of like Trovatrip in general. The trips are different as well because they're different, I guess, operators that organize the trips for Italy and Croatia. So it's also interesting to experience a trip that's ran a little bit differently from the one that I've done previously. Still having a really great time. Everyone is so much fun and excited for another day of activities. Wish me wellness. I've just pretty much burned my hands trying to get hot water from the machine downstairs so that I could make honey water because I can't find lemon. Because y'all know my default when I have anything resembling a cold or a sore throat is to make myself a cup of honey and lemon. So fingers crossed it's just a sore throat and it doesn't last very long. But we're going to be meeting in the lobby in 30 minutes. I need to straighten my fringe and also tidy up just a little bit before the cleaning service comes and has to move all my shit. So I'm gonna go get on that.
I see you in the hallway, but I'm too shy to say hello. Flowers by your driveway, and it sucks that you might never know. Oh, you don't understand that he's never gonna change. Cause to him you're just a game, could I just have a chance? Wish I could wear my feelings on my sleeve then. Give you my jacket when your heart is freezing. You're more than a trophy, just a better broke queen. But I'll keep on waiting till you see that I could be the kind of guy that used to keep you dreaming.
That's so hard putting, like, situating.
Abbinare con insieme ai piatti di pesce.
Wish I could wear my feelings on my sleeve.
So we're currently on the train from Rome to Florence, which was delayed by an hour and 40 minutes, which wasn't ideal. I believe that there was an earthquake
last night in the south of Italy, which delayed all of the trains coming from that area because the tracks needed clearing. But we are en route to Florence and we will be there at 2 p.m. where we're in a tunnel. I love this. I have such beautiful lighting and then the whole thing just goes kind of orange. We are going to have a little bit of a quicker turnaround than we originally planned in Florence, because we have a walking tour starting at 3, which may start a little bit later now. And then we also have tonight a reservation at a restaurant. I believe that Florence is known for its steak, so that is a potential. But I did also notice that the restaurant we're going to has a whole section of the menu that is just truffle, and I gotta say that's really appealing to me. So yeah, I will check in with you guys a little bit later on. I am reading, actually. I'm still going with Best Served Cold. I have 170 pages left now, so along with the flight home and the 90-minute train back to Rome from Florence that we have on Friday, I'm pretty confident I'm going to get it done. Sadly, not having any better feelings towards it than I was to start off with, but it goes, and that's all we can hope for right now.
September 4th, 1966. Well, that is the level reached by the water because of the very last.
Wow.
Wake up this morning, make the mistake of turning on the TV. Nothing but bad news, empty avenues rolling on the screen. Oh, walk to the kitchen and make myself a...
He said this door would be perfect as a paradise gate. So Michelangelo named this door that was created by a pretty famous Florentine artist, Lorenzo Betti.
In my mind I whisper ciao and I take myself to Tuscany, Italy, riding on a Vespa in a sunflower field, yeah, warm wind blowing and birds are singing in Cypress Street. Tuscany, Italy,
Honey and the jam too. You like honey?
That's where I
Santa Cristina, the farm, they made it.
go back to my room. I pick up the laptop to join a work call. I don't think Karen knows that she's wearing her sweatshirt inside out. Oh, water on my plants.
In the middle to fertilize the soil, we use the sheep and cow manure, and we wait until the leaves fall down to do the pruning. So we cut the vines to leave few gems each branch.
Here they come. Oh wow.
On a Vespa in a sunflower field, yeah, warm wind blowing and birds are singing Cypress Street.
All the wine that we make is mainly made in the stainless steel tanks, just one barrel of 600 liters to age just a kind of wine.
Second stop for a while and just struggle to get back. It is hard to.
Skins in contact with the wine, then separated from the wine.
See you later.
So we just climbed up to the Piazza Michelangelo to see the view. I don't even know if you guys can see of Florence. Is that even the right way? This way? There we go. And it's sweaty. We're taking a moment to recover, but we made it just before sunset, and the view is pretty spectacular. We're very brave. You should be really proud of us.
Get into Rome at 4:50. We still have to get the luggage going to the bus. We'll get to the hotel.
Tuscany, Italy, eating carbonara and read Machiavelli. While the world ends, that's where I will be.
Good morning guys, it is our last full day in Italy and I finally have a little bit of a haul to bring you guys. We're packing to leave Florence right now, so I had to get this update done so that I can pack these safely for traveling back to Rome. But we had the Tuscan farm experience yesterday morning, which I loved. It's one of the highlights of the trip for me, obviously because there's animals there, so you knew that I was gonna love it. But everything that they make on that farm, everything that we had on in the lunch is stuff that they produce there on that farm, and they also sell produce. So I did want to pick something up. Obviously with flying, it had to be something that I could keep preserved. So you know, I got myself a big ass jar of honey. This almost tastes like flavored honey. Like it definitely tastes like honey, but it has a little bit something extra. Obviously it depends on what it is the bees are eating. Is eating the correct term? Or like what flowers they're pollinating, taking pollen from. Flavors the honey, but this was so nice. You know that I love honey. I put it in tea. I make lemon and honey tea when I'm sick, which speaking of, this week it feels like I've had a cold without actually having a cold. Like I've had a little bit of a cough. I feel like I sound very slightly nasally right now, but I feel absolutely fine. It's wild. But anyway, I wanted to get this. I'm a little bit nervous about taking it home because it's a big glass jar, but I'm confident because I got a bottle of wine home from Croatia. We then in the afternoon went back into Florence, so I went to a shop that had caught my eye yesterday. This is my, I guess, souvenir kind of purchase, and I don't want to unwrap it because she taped it up real nice for me, but I'm sure I can, it's only for me anyway, so it's not too big a deal. This is also something I'm a little bit worried about getting home because it's made out of wood, so it's kind of fragile. They had these gorgeous hand-painted trays, so I got one in navy and gold that would match the library. I'm running out of surfaces to put things on at home, I can't lie, but I mean, it's a vibe and I wanted it. And then the final thing that I have, I didn't actually get for myself. Amberly got it for me because I wanted it and I wasn't buying it for myself. It's a book and it's by an author that I adore, but it's also by an author that I haven't read from in potentially around 15 years. It's a new release from this author, but I'm nervous because this was my favorite author. Like I was a rep for this author when I was a child, before reps were a thing, and it's the 2023 release. It's Enchanted to Meet You by Meg Cabot, and Amberly very kindly bought this for me, so thank you very much, Amberly, because I kept picking it up and putting it down and picking it up and putting it down. But this one is an adult witchy romance. I'm getting like XX kind of vibes from it, from Meg Cabot, who was my favorite author as a teenager. And I remember I signed up for this like ambassador program when I was a kid, and I got it, and I got like the new releases and like samplers to give out to my friends for like a year, and it was amazing. So I'm worried about this because obviously while I adored Meg Cabot, I haven't read Meg Cabot in 15 years. And is she an author of the time that she was popular in? Like, do her works, like, will this be good now in 2023 when I've read so many more books, when I've grown so much as a reader? I have no idea. I was very unsure, but Amberly was like, I can see that you want this and you're not gonna buy it for yourself. So she snuck off and she bought it for me. I was very tired yesterday, which is how I didn't clock that this was happening, but I'm very, very excited to give this a try. So thank you very much to Amberly for buying this for me, because I suck at buying things for myself, especially books. I really suck at buying them for myself. So today we are all very, very tired. We were going to attempt the dome climb, but I don't think there's many people who are feeling quite up to it. So I think the plan is for us to find a base of operations somewhere a little bit, because like we're a 10-15 minute walk out of Florence. We're going to go a little bit closer. We're going to find a base of operations. We're going to sit and read, and anybody who wants to go off and do like museums, there's a church that isn't the main cathedral that I believe has very beautiful statues inside, so I'm thinking of maybe going looking at that. It's quite a small one as well, so it won't take very long, because our train back to Rome is 3 p.m. so we're meeting back at the hotel to get the bus to the train station at 2. So until then we don't have a whole ton to do, so I think we're going to take it easy, because after the farewell dinner, which is when we arrive back in Rome, we're going to take a little bit of a final walk around the city, see some of the sights at night, and that's it. I won't really see anyone tomorrow because the first transfer leaves at 4:30 a.m. The one that I'm on is 8:30 a.m. so I'll see the couple of people who are in that transfer with me. But the 4:30 a.m. crowd, the last time I'm going to see them is tonight. So I want to make the most of the night and not expend what little energy I have left. This morning climbing the dome, although I would have loved to do that. The hill was really cool last night. I climbed that. So at least I've climbed something in Florence.
You like mix and match. Yeah. What you wanted.
Hi. I just wanted to say a couple of words. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you all for coming. I hope you've all had a great time. I know that I have, and I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys, especially some of you guys that I've been talking to you for like almost years.
Still see light, even the birds still sing at night. Every word just comes out right when I'm with you, with you. did I get to see those eyes for more than tonight?
We're heading home. We have 10 minutes until our transfer. I broke a nail. I don't know if I told you guys. I broke my nail in the airport on the way here and I glued it back on, and then just as I was packing everything up, like the last things, I've snapped it and I can't find the tip. So I'm gonna have to go for a repair because I've still got a long time till my appointment. But yeah, this is it. We're leaving Rome. I did buy some stuff yesterday in Florence. Got some very exciting last minute souvenirs. I knew it was dangerous going back into town, but hey ho. I can only show you those when I get home because they've been packaged to fly securely because they're fragile. So I'll do that at some point. But yeah, it's time to head back to the UK, which it's 27 degrees here at the minute. It's 12 in the UK. So I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a shock.
Can't believe that I get to see those eyes for more than tonight. Swear you must have fell from the sky.
So I made it home. The rail strikes cancelled the train that we were planning to get home just before we left. So my dad picked us up at the airport. It's like a 2.5 hour drive, and very kindly, the kind generous soul that he is, he brought us home. We've been home for about 50 minutes. I'm already all unpacked. I'm already showered. I'm wearing winter pajamas because it is cold and it is raining here, and I'm not mad about it because September and October are my favorite months. And the thing that I love about September is that it's kind of warm, but it's slipping into fall. But I feel like I've extended the summer by a month by being in Croatia and Italy, so I'm ready for this like dark rainy weather until seasonal depression kicks in. Then I'm gonna regret it. But I can now bring you the haul of things that I bought on our last day in Italy. Was this only yesterday morning that I did this? It feels like a million years ago. But I picked up some Italian chocolate. We've already lost a bar because I bought a bar for my dad, but I went to Venti, which I believe is a chain, and they have gelato, they have chocolate, and they had an offer, and I actually bought like a mix bag, like a pick and mix bag of small chocolates that I do not have with me here. I got those for myself, but I also took advantage of an offer they had on where you buy 3 bars of chocolate, you get this one, which is 75% extra dark free. So I bought a caramel bar for my dad. Curtis wasn't with us when we went round to like hit up a few shops. He decided to stay in the park and just relax. I picked him up a bar of tiramisu because the boy doesn't drink coffee, but he loves like coffee chocolate and coffee like desserts. And for myself, as well as the little grab bag, I picked up a bar of pistachio. I haven't tried any of these yet. They did have like truffle samples in the shop, which were very, very nice. And I gotta say, I love the little bag as well. So, oh, there was actually, if you gave them your email at the desk, you also got a free bar of 85% extra dark. I've actually been really enjoying dark chocolate recently. I feel like it's a little bit like, it feels a little bit more luxurious, a little bit more decadent, a little bit more of a treat. This might be too dark for me, and I normally get like a flavored one like dark chocolate and almond butter or dark chocolate and raspberry or something, but we'll give it a try. And then I went to a shop where I spent quite a bit of money. I got something that was beautiful, and I'm gonna save it till last, but I went to a shop called Signum. I think there's a few in Florence. I don't know if they're anywhere else in Italy, but they sell stationery, note cards, monogrammed leather journals. They sell bookmarks, which I can't show you some of the stuff in here because I picked up a couple of like small gifts for people, but I did pick up this bookmark for myself. And I also picked up, they had a series of bookmarks that were theatre cats, and I picked up 2 because I couldn't decide. I felt like I wanted to get Curtis one, even though I'll probably end up with it because he doesn't read enough to need a fancy bookmark. But I picked up this one and this one, and I just loved the art on them. They had more than these. They had a whole range of them, and I thought they were really sweet, and I didn't pick up a bookmark from anywhere else. I'm actually gonna put these away instead of just putting them back in the packaging. But the creme de la creme, the pièce de résistance of everything that I got is in this box, which I have untaped it to show Curtis because Curtis hadn't even seen it, but they packaged it very nicely for me in the shop, so I wasn't going to be untaping it until I got it home safely. But they had so many of these. This is not the smallest one that they do, but it is one of the smaller ones, and everything that they make in this range ranges from a tiny, like a small magnet that's like 40 euros up until this gorgeous framed piece that you hang on the wall and looks like a recessed bookshelf, which was 1,000 euros. So that was the range that we were going with. This is one of the smaller pieces, and it is gorgeous. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on this trip. Obviously, like, I gave myself a budget of money to spend. I didn't spend very much at all, so I decided to splurge and treat myself to this. I am obsessed. If I ever go to Florence again, I'm getting another one. I want to create a miniature library within my library because look at this. I know a couple of other guys picked them up. Claire got a like one of the magnet ones, which is like a singular shelf. Laura got one that was a little bit bigger than this, which was stunning. And I don't know where I'm putting it yet. I got the blue one because obviously like blue, but I don't know whether I'm probably going to put it in here. The thing is that I do have a lot of trinkets and knickknacks in here. I'm a maximalist, we all know this, so it may go in the living room, and the dark wood would look very nice in the living room as well, but I did decide to go with blue. They had red, they had green, they had like brown neutral tones, and I love the little cat on here. They had some with lamps, they had some with little drippy candles. The books on here aren't super relevant to the trip because I have a Leonardo da Vinci one, which we did talk about Leonardo da Vinci quite a bit. One of the palaces in Florence is where he lived when, I'm not sure whether he grew up there, but when he was quite young he lived there with his family. But we also have like this Sicily on here, which I obviously didn't go to. They did have some with Florence on, so it was very hard to pick one that spoke to me that was also relevant, so I went with the one that kind of spoke to me the most. And I really liked that it has this arch top on it. It also has a hook on it, so I could hang it on the wall as well if I wanted to, which would also be tempting when I have more like small curio pieces to like spice up a gallery wall a little bit, because my gallery wall are all prints, so I feel like it would be weird if I just added one thing that wasn't a print. Although I do have a nail here. I mean, it looks a little bit weird just floating there. I feel like I prefer to have it stood. I'm obsessed with this. I'm so excited to find a home for it. We're waiting for takeout now because we have nothing in the house. We have a bag of cheese, we have a bottle of milk, a bottle of Pepsi, and some cold brew coffee. That's it. So we've ordered takeout. I've just got cheesy chips because I'm not like the hungriest, but I'm excited to cozy down. I might watch the latest few episodes of Love is Blind because I watched the 4 from the original drop, or was it 3? I don't know, but I have the next batch to watch. And this vlog is going to be running just a smidge longer, a smidge because I'm determined to check in with you guys tomorrow to tell you I have finished Best Served Cold. Now, I'm confident that I would have finished this had my train not been cancelled, but I was talking to my dad on the way back, so I wasn't reading. I have less than 100 pages left. I'm on page 586, so I have 80 pages, and the plan is to have it done by the end of today because today's the last day of September. I want it in my September wrap up. The live show is tomorrow at 8 p.m, and it's also the first day of the Bookathon tomorrow, so I have other things to be reading. I'm still not really vibing with this, I can't lie. I'm very excited for this to be over. I'm interested to see what everybody else in the book club thought, because this is definitely my least favourite first law book so far. But my plan is after my dinner to crack on with this a little bit. I mean, it is quite early, it's only 7 p.m. So I feel like I've got this, and then I'll check in with you guys tomorrow to give you my final thoughts on this, and also to wrap up the trip, give you a rundown on the trip, like my highlights, and all of that good stuff in the morning. So last night at around 11, I managed to finish Best Served Cold by Joe Abercrombie, and then the live show, which was supposed to be today, has just been rescheduled because half of the hosts are ill. So I mean, I'm still glad that I finished it last night because that means that I got it into September. It's not going over into October, and I can start the Spookathon today. Yeah, the time crunch ain't as crunchy as it was 24 hours ago. I don't think it's a secret to say that I didn't love this one. I ended up giving it 2 stars overall, but that being said, I did really like the end of this. So obviously the overarching plot is Monza one by one killing the people that are responsible for the death of her brother and also like her attempted murder. But the further I got to the end of this, the more I started to discover things about the characters that I didn't know, because we have like almost an entire new cast of characters in here. There are a few characters that are side characters in the first trilogy, and we also have like a new host of side characters as well. Some of the characters that you think are just brand new characters to this story, the further you get to the end, Joe Abercrombie starts to reveal that they may have connections to the potential main overarching plot of the First Law universe that you weren't aware of to start off with. And you guys know I love that shit. So I really enjoyed all of those reveals we were getting at the end, but the bulk of this, the revenge plot, the entire time I was reading it, I just didn't want to be. I didn't connect to the characters. A revenge plot is something I typically would be interested in. I like Joe Abercrombie's writing style. I don't know why this really did not work for me, but I didn't have a good time, and that does not bode well for the standalones, because this is the one that I thought that I would enjoy the most, because the next one is a battle, like just one battle that is told from the perspective of different people. And the next one after that, I think, is Joe Abercrombie's take on a Western. And we all know from me reading Miss Born Era 2 how I feel about fantasy Westerns. I'm still really interested in the second trilogy though, but at this point I'm not really sure if the standalones are going to be for me. So that was my final book for September. I managed to read 3 in total, which I mean isn't the most, but the smallest one was like 630 pages, so I feel like I did pretty well. So in terms of the trip, in terms of Italy as a whole, I had a really good time. And it's interesting now, having done 2 Trovatrips almost back to back, like the differences between the two. So like Croatia is a much smaller country than Italy is, and because of that I feel like logistically a lot of things went potentially smoother with Croatia than they did with Italy. I mean, in terms of the traveling between locations on the itinerary, that all went way smoother in Croatia, because like the traffic in Rome is horrendous. There was an earthquake, there was some bad luck involved as well, like some people had general travel issues getting there, like delays and cancellations and things. There was also an earthquake in the south of Italy, which meant our train to Florence was delayed, and things like that just took a little bit longer in Rome and Florence. In terms of value for money, I spent almost nothing in Italy aside from like the souvenirs that I bought. In comparison to what I spent in Croatia, I think I spent less than half in Italy than I spent in Croatia. And generally speaking, like Italy is a more expensive country to be in, I feel, but there were a lot of meals included in the Italy trip. And when I'm talking meals, I'm talking 4 courses. Like I thought when meals were included it would be like just a main course or just like a pasta dish, but no, we're talking 4-course meals. So outside of all of these 4-course meals I'm eating, I'm obviously not spending a lot on food, and I did still eat a lot, but it wasn't on sit down meals. It was more on like a slice of pizza or gelato or a croissant, which I did feel like really kept the cost down in terms of the amount that I was spending on just being on the trip. And I also feel like the pace of the 2 trips was very different, because Italy, like we did 2 big cities, we did Rome, we did Florence, so I feel like the trip was a little bit more tiring. I felt a lot more refreshed when I came back from Croatia than I do now. Like I feel like I need 3 business days to recover from all the walking, and with it being cities, like the pace generally was, or at least felt, a lot faster. The itinerary there was often days where there were like 2 things on the itinerary which took up like the bulk of the time, and then towards the end of the trip, on top of the itinerary activities, I was doing a lot of like sightseeing and shopping in the free time that we were allocated. So yeah, the trips were definitely different, both very enjoyable. I've made so many great memories this month that are gonna stay with me forever. I really love the way that Trovatrip provides this environment where like I can interact with you guys, I can hang out with you guys in a safe environment. And like I've met some of you guys before, like just generally out and about, also like I did a meetup in New York, but with this you get to spend an extended period of time with people from all around the world, like people from like the US and coming from the UK and coming from Europe, all meeting in one place to do something together. And something that I really like about this in terms of it being a group trip is that the people you're traveling with are pretty like-minded, like you have the same kind of hobbies. Most of us are introverts, and that really provided I feel a common ground, because I feel like I've never been on a group trip outside of these, but I know from speaking to the guides, like they seem to be a bit rowdier than our trips are. And while I really enjoyed the group trip experience through this, where I would consider like going out of my way to go on group trips in the future, I would be a little bit scared that my pace and the way that I like to do things would be very different to other people, because obviously like I know a lot of people like to go on holiday and party. That is not my vibe. Yeah, it was a really rewarding and fulfilling experience to be able to hang out with some of you guys, and thank you so much to everyone who came, because with this being the first Trovatrip as well, you guys really took the plunge. It felt very experimental when we were launching this, when people were booking this, and it's gone really well. And obviously I was nervous when I agreed to this, and just the experiences that I've had have made me very confident to continue to do this in the future, which is great. In terms of the Italy trip, the highlight for me, I think I definitely preferred Florence over Rome, and this may seem weird to say, but the atmosphere of Florence feels more Italian, like the stereotypical what you think of when you think of Italy, than Rome does. Even though Rome has all of the big monuments, like I feel like Florence has a cozier, more romantic atmosphere that I really enjoyed, and the pace was just a little bit
bit slower. But I think in terms of the like activities, I really enjoyed the Tuscan farm tour. I loved feeding the sheep. I love that everything that we ate during the lunch was handmade, and like pretty much all of their ingredients they grew themselves or produced themselves somehow on the farm. And I feel like that was a really cool, unique experience. And I also really love the pasta making class as well. I like interactive things more than anything, but I also feel, having been to Rome before, doing like the Colosseum and also the Vatican with assistance of a tour guide was really helpful and made the experience a lot more enjoyable for me than it was when me and Curtis just went by ourselves and kind of was just going around looking at things. So if you guys have enjoyed this vlog, and if you potentially would like to get involved and join me on something like this in the future, I am going to put the link to my Trovatrip survey down in the description box. If you go ahead and fill that in, you are essentially just letting me know what countries you're open to visiting, what your availability is, your budget, and what type of trips you enjoy, like more relaxation or more like exploration type activities, so that when I am looking at hosting trips going forward, I can take your opinions into account and like judge what you guys also want to do. As well as that, I will also drop a link to the next Trovatrip that I'm hosting, which is going to be this coming February, and that is a culinary exploration of Thailand that I'm co-hosting along with Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction. That I imagine will be super good value for money because the focus of the trip is food, so the majority of the meals are included. And also in terms of spending money, obviously depending on what currency you're converting from, but I know if you're converting from like dollars or pounds, you get a really good rate. So I imagine that being in Thailand isn't going to be overly expensive as well. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then you can definitely go ahead and check that out as well. But that pretty much brings us to the end of this week's vlog. Next week is the first week of the Spookoplathon, and throughout all of October, I'm going to be doing just like weekly roll as you go vlogs, which I'm very excited about because I feel like when I roll as I go, I get a lot more excited and motivated to read because I don't know what's coming up next, and that makes me read a little bit faster. So do stay tuned for that if you are at all interested. And aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this vlog if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.